It's high-level conversations only. Make sure you gotta tap in.
Yeah, lock in. And then you don't know what's coming next.
Yeah.
You understand me? So you got to watch the whole movie in order to get to the end. You know? And then once you might want a sequel after that.
Oh, look, that Full Matrix. Toots, come here. We're talking about the Full Matrix, right?
That was fire.
So
Phenomenal.
she gonna drop some gems on this because that's like her favorite.
Oh, that's your
episode.
thing,
That's
huh?
my favorite episode, yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yo, this brother was crazy.
Yeah, he was cold with it.
But the B-roll when he was bringing up certain things, and I'm like, oh, like that's how it's broken down. Like we looking at this, like, nah, this is different.
Yeah.
Like I probably watched that thing probably twice. Like,
Yeah, that was a fire episode. That's gonna change some people's lives.
nah, that.
It changed out.
Surely.
Now I'm like it's more plant based. Like
Yeah.
the plate, like we have the meat, but it's getting the portions is smaller and more plant based. So
I
yeah.
think it was fire. He brought up the point about, you know, we utilize fruits as desserts sometimes, but we don't think of it as a full meal. You know, but that's where you get all your substance from. I think just that small shift in people's mindset is enough to change trajectories of families for years to come.
And even a negative thought of sugar from fruit is bad, but when you really thought about it, when he brought it down, like the heat and everything that happens within the fruit, so it changed everything for us.
Powerful. That brother was powerful. It's a lot of people I know that's powerful to have information like that, and that's why I wanted to make the show not about the people, but the information. You know what I'm saying?
That was amazing.
You definitely doing that, man. And shout out to you behind the camera. We got to give you the love, you know what I'm saying? Because you chopping and screwing and editing that thing up to perfection. It's like, it's dope, man. So I love what you guys are doing, and it's making us all, whoever's putting out shows right now, you got to step your level of content up. It's just, you got to get a higher level. You know what I'm saying? As Keys would say, go to that higher level. So I'm happy that you guys are really putting it on like that, man.
I appreciate that.
19 Keys, the biggest ever.
It's the biggest ever. 19 Keys, EYL, Master Investor. You understand me? We out here in Philly at the Roots Picnic. Something different. Listen, I always say when the thought leaders and the rappers connect, the game is over. They got your attention, we got your education. You blend them together and our people get elevation. Make sure y'all locked in. Make sure you do something like this for your crowd, your event, whatever you're talking about. We bring the people. We sell the tickets. We bring them in because they realize that they've been missing something their whole life. You understand me? They've been missing the knowledge to be able to create the institutions that's going to save themselves. And that's what we bring. Lock in. They be trying to figure out why the high-level conversation works so well. You know, OG once told me, the right idea at the right time always equals success. And if the people need it, then we go bring them. And if you bring them what they need, if you build it, they will come. We do it at a high level to make sure that the knowledge and the vibration of the consciousness is matched with the aesthetic in a way that we brand it, design it, and put it together. Because I can tell you this, the devil ain't taking no days off, so God got to work overtime. That's what we doing. It's high-level conversations for your mind. Make sure you tap in.
I'm not, bro. Hey, keep spreading the love, bro.
Yes, sir. What was your name again?
Dante Lux.
Blessing to meet you, Dante. Yes, sir.
You gonna see me soon at the top. Let's go. You too.
Yes, sir.
Let's go on my mama, bro. Hey, y'all helped us, bro.
Appreciate it.
Hey, y'all saved my company for real.
Hey, you saved it by
For real, Jiggarobics.
You saved it by taking
On my mama. Hey, they saved my company, bro, on my mama. Hey, Jiggarobics, we get lit while we get fit. Hey, as seen on ABC Shark Tank, bro. Y'all helped us for real. That's love, bro.
Ain't no brand in the world. Get those kind of testimonies. Come on, black man. What you talking about?
Mama, look, I ain't trying to be no fan boy, nothing, but bro, y'all saved me for real.
Stay on it, man. You got it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. We got it. We're already there. We're already matching. You too, bro.
Yeah, 6:30. Come over there, power up, bring everybody. I was anticipating me coming, but we couldn't make it shake.
You know, people be capping sometimes, man. Feeling the show, man. I had to remind him that he was having a high level conversation.
Yeah, man, it's on a high level.
I was like,
Yeah. He told me.
Beast yesterday. We said yesterday. Oh, you said yesterday? Black Dog and the Butcher, man?
Yeah, we was up there.
That sun feel good, man. Anytime you get a chance, you gotta stop and just pause in the sun, let it recharge. What's gonna happen, man? You touch your skin while the sun is out, you gonna feel it's warm. Why? Because your melanin is actually trapping some of the radiation within it, so it can utilize it, absorbing the vitamins, you understand me, and the nutrients from the sun. The sun gives us information feeding our body. You stay in the sun long enough, you understand me, you be well fed. You gotta tap in. You gotta let that give you vitamin D. We don't naturally, you understand me, consistently synthesize it, so we gotta get it. We are solar deficient people. Get some of that sun. I'm trying to give you the game here, man.
You got me. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Listening to your shit, yo. Appreciate that. 25,
Ladies and gentlemen in the podcast area, excuse me, sir, can you just turn that down a little bit? I can hear me in the back. Okay, listen. I'm talking about
I'm a real one. A real one. You're gonna never play. Good to see y'all. Yeah, sorry, man. Blessings to you.
ready. You knew you was going to win. They don't want none of this. They don't want none of this. Yo,
Peace family, 19 Kings tapping in. So far, we're here at the Roost Picnic. We're about to touch the stage, give a nice performance here where they got the podcast stage. That's what people want to get their mind right. They want to tap into some of that godly energy. We're going to pull up me, Master Investor, Rashad, Troy. We're going to turn it up. You feel me? Nah, so listen, though. I'm going to tell y'all something, though. This is a secret, though. Everything is changing. Everything is shifting right before your eyes. You understand me? When you see the guys start to switch up the archetype of what people start to look to and what they're attracted to, when you walking through and people like, yo, you changed my life. Yo, you helped my business. Yo, I'm not the same person because of you. That's something that's different that you're not going to be able to get in different fields, and that's what the thought leaders do. Everybody talk about influence of this, influence of that, but what are you actually influencing? If you ain't influential for a higher vibration into the minds of these young mentals, then that means that you're doing something that ain't good for our people. It's corrosive. It's corruptive. But this right here, this is righteous. It's powerful. You understand me? It's the future. It's the new culture. Make sure y'all tap in. Peace.
And you know, true EYL fashion, we brought our family with us, we brought 19 kids, we brought me and Duncan, so make some noise for yourself for taking the opportunity to learn in the midst of a lot of other things right now, but you understand your education is more important than entertainment. So make some noise for yourself.
Yes, sir. Can we try something? They said that the earnest is here. There's one way we're going to figure this out, right? So when we say EYL, y'all say the biggest. Can we do that? All right, let's test it out. Here we go. EYL? EYL? EYL?
You know, all over the world, television shows, things that make sure you
can't handle it anyway.
It just goes to show you that never let somebody kill your dream. Never let somebody tell you what's possible or what's impossible, because at the end of the day, you
likewise, I see you when you get on there. Peace, God on that stage, boy. Minds tapped in.
You guys, and appreciate you guys. You know, some people just can't be duplicated. Some people are just one of one, and they're just special. And if you understand who 19 Keys is, you understand that he's just a special person that just cannot be duplicated. So whenever I get an opportunity to hear 19 Keys talk, I just listen, because there's so much information, and the way he delivers the information is just impeccable. He's impeccable in his word. He's a man of high level of integrity, and it's an honor to call him my brother. So 19 Keys,
let's go.
Leader of the generation.
Yes, sir. Give it up for 19 Keys, ladies and gentlemen. Get to it.
This is going to be a high-level conversation.
High-level conversation. So, let me start with Keys. Keys, I know you said you wanted to talk about business.
Yes, sir.
So we in a space where a lot of people are concerned about the economy, they're concerned about their jobs, but all four of us are entrepreneurs. All 4 of us started businesses with very little to no capital, and all 4 of us have been able to scale at a very quick level and a very high level. So what are your words to the people that actually might be on the cusp of starting a business, a little bit scared, or just starting a business, not trying to figure it out? What are your words as far as, for the business owners that's trying to take it to the next level?
I think this is the best time to be a business owner, but you got to have a business mindset. I think before people get started, they have an idea, they got their creativity sometimes, but they don't actually know how to do business, right? And that's very important because we're very spiritual, powerful people, aren't we? Come on, don't sound like it. We're very spiritual, powerful people. But you got to be able to marry that spirituality with the business mindset. You understand? We live in America where oftentimes we have a duality of mindset, the Eurocentric and the Afrocentric. The Eurocentric is where we're going to tap in and we're going to learn business development, right? But we also have to learn how to take that brilliance and turn it into systems, right? To where we have business principles that we apply, we have strategies. We know how to create teams, we know how to hire and fire. We actually have to learn how to start incorporating the business in our businesses. Right? The Afrocentric aspect of it goes towards our culture. We got Chief Keef in the background.
Yeah, I was going to say, Keith, I want them to hear you because we compete against music. So please hold your microphone as close.
Can y'all hear me now?
That's
We're a little louder?
There it is.
So when we talking about culture, we're talking about a new culture because even sometimes when we do business, it's often devoid of spirit. You understand me? And we don't often do business in a way that we can creatively be able to take over industries. Like when I started to talk to people about NFTs, it wasn't about a monkey picture or a bear picture. It was about how you can implement that in your business. But if you didn't have a business, it didn't make sense to you. Look at this festival, 60,000 tickets sold, right? And it was sold at $25, that's roughly $1.5 million. Gary Vee got on NFTs and sold 10,000 NFTs and made $90 million. Which one is a better business model? Just think about that for a second. If we are, goddamn, 100 years behind the white family, and even Hispanics, they say that y'all will be, there ain't too many of y'all in here, but there's a couple of y'all in here. My brown family, I see you.
Shout out to our bro.
They say that we gonna be broke by 2053, and they said 20 years later, y'all gonna be broke too. So that means that all of us got some work to do. They say that our wealth is going down by 90%, and theirs is increasing by 5 to 10% over the years. And it's drastically worse because these numbers came out before COVID. So that means that the most valuable investment is always going to be intellectual property no matter what you do. Because that's something you can utilize to pay you forever. We live in a digital economy. I've had a storefront before where I was dependent upon traffic. Customers coming in there every day, but there's always a cap. On the internet, there's no cap to my creativity. I can figure out a multitude of different ways to get people to come into my store, and then I'm just breaking it down based on percentages. I want to convert 3% or 10%. And then based on that, I'm going to figure out how to get the marketing up. So if it's 1,000 people or 10,000 people or 100,000 people, then I know how much money I need to make. So for me, I was listening to Magic Johnson the other day, and he said he don't do business with family. I don't believe that shit. I believe you do business with family. But I believe you have to have a family business model that actually take care of your family. Because how many of you all had a job and you expected your family to come in there and support? Nobody. Why would you expect your family to come and support your job if you don't support them? But when you create a business model that actually applies to your family, when they support it, it supports them. So I hired my family. I put them to work. Because I want to make sure that my last name, you understand me, and what we represent actually makes us some money. We have an industry, a skill set. We can go entertain ourselves into poverty all day long. And we try to consistently distract ourselves based on the fact that we know we got a responsibility to save ourselves. So I don't care about a recession. The mental recession is the one that happens first, right? When people start believing that the market is going to crash. They start believing that there's no money in the market and things start to happen. They stop spending the same way. They stop being ingenuitive. They start going into depression and stress and anxiety. But the moment that you believe that the stock market bouncing back or the sales is up, you start feeling good and confidence, right? The ideas start to flow again, and all of a sudden you start to make profit. It had nothing to do with the market. It was all about you. So when we're talking about business, your business depends on your mind. And a lot of people don't want to take responsibility for their mind, so they'd rather have somebody else manage their time or some outside force as a reason for their success and failure. So today, I want everybody to think about how I want to get my family to represent a business or an asset class. Because when you leave here and you're done being distracted and you're done being entertained, you still got to build some wealth.
And you may have a white friend, brown friend, and people of all different colors, but they ain't got the same problems we got. So even if you're making the same amount of money, you got less wealth. So listening to these gems here about marketing and branding and creativity and the utilization of technology and Web3 and blockchain is how we save ourselves.
Give it up for Keys. Yeah, that shit was powerful.
Nobody remembers the second person to do it. You have to be the first. If you're going to do marketing, it's like if I came out and said that I have the greatest chakra vibration podcast on the planet. Now, if you don't know anybody that has a podcast that talks about chakras, then you don't have nobody to compare me to. So it has to be true in your mind. Now, the second person that says they have that, you're going to be like, you lying, Keys is way better than this. Right? So therefore, they're going to have the second best sales. Can you guess who, now what's the school that has the biggest endowment or make the most money in America? Harvard. They was also the first. Right? And then you go to Oxford and you go to the other ones and you start to go in sequential order of when they actually came, right? There are certain companies that can't get out of their branding and their niche. So not only is you want to be the first, but you got to create you a lane when you're the first. When I say high level conversations, anybody else that try to do a higher level is void. That's over for it. You understand? Because it ain't no higher level than this, right? But I can say that because who are you compared to? I created my own lane. So when you create your own lane, then you become a niche brand, but not so niche that you can't build it out. Like right now, when I build up my brand and I do my marketing, I make sure that the whole ecosystem is built into it. So now you see a person wear crowns, but they take the crown's oil. We put the crown's oil, they take it, it's a nootropic for their mind, right? That's still on brand because why? It's an intelligent brand, it's a smart brand. So when you talk about building your brand, you have to know what is your brand type. Is it a funny brand? Is it intelligent? Is it eco-friendly? Is it a healthy brand? Right? A lot of people have businesses with no business plan. And it's the same when it comes to the marketing plan. Right? When it talks about, even right now, one of the biggest things you can do in marketing is text marketing and community marketing. I always say it's better to have you a Discord or a Telegram channel than it is to even have an Instagram. Why? Because all of those people can go get notifications and those become your super communities. Web3 is nothing but the capitalization of communities being developed out. Before anybody launched one of those big projects that you've seen, they had to get everybody funneled into a system. And that's all it was one big funnel, right? It made no sense that people was buying $5,000 to $20,000 to $30,000 tickets to go to somebody's actual event. But because it was hyped and there was a funnel that had community, people driving it up, telling them that they loved it, then everybody thought it made sense. But now that we understand it, it has to be based on true value, right? So for me, it's about creating a brand that is always the first in what it does in that category. It's about creating a niche that nobody else can jump in your lane to where it makes it very hard for market competition. You understand me? I want to make so much space between me and the next person that it's going to take them years to catch up. And in those years that they catching up, I'm consistently innovating. And then at the same time, when it comes to marketing, I want to always stay on brand with everything I do. I'm going to say no to things that's not aligned with the brand, even if it's profitable. And I'm going to make sure that I'm constantly updating my business with the proper business tools, right? You may be using Facebook chat groups a year ago, 5 years ago, and that made sense. Today, I'm going to download Community or some SMS text group, or I'm going to hire somebody that know how to go scrape Twitter and scrape YouTube to find my audience and throw them in an email list, so therefore, I can remarket to them later on, the ones that didn't follow, the ones that didn't comment. Because when you go look at your page for marketing right now, you go look at your analytics, it might say you got 500 followers, but 1,000 people that watched you this week, right? So those are people that you have yet to convert, but they know who you are. So those are the people that you want to retarget when you're talking about doing marketing. So I always say when it comes to money, I want to figure out who got my money in their pocket. I know some of y'all got my money in your pocket right now. I just got to figure out something of value that you want to exchange for the money that you have. So my job is not to sell you something. My job is to create something of value that you want to buy with the money that you earn on a consistent and daily basis. Because you make money to exchange it for things of value, goods, service, products. So if black people don't have any goods, services, or products, then the only thing we can do with our money is spend. That's why everybody markets to us.
And never, clap it up for Keys.
Bro, seriously, I was going to say this. When it comes to marketing, I got the red shirt theory, right? It's not really a theory, it's a fact.
that if I wear a red shirt one day, a person see it, they don't think nothing of it. If I wear it the same day, they're like, okay, now he got on a red again, right? Then they start to get in their mind. Then the third day, they say, damn, Roy got on a red shirt again. He always wearing red, right? The fourth day, they be like, all right, I see, that's a thing now. The fifth day that I wear the red shirt, they're going to expect me to wear it. That's how branding works. It works for repetition. And anything that you do, if you do it repetitively, it becomes frequently. And I always say, what you do frequently becomes your frequency, right? So for me, in branding, I always use the red shirt idea because it's something that's going to stick out in the mind when people think of you. And so when you have that thing at all times, anytime somebody see a red shirt, they might think about you, right? If I have somebody that wears a crown or any of my merchandise anywhere in the world, they're going to be like, oh, I think I seen 19 Keys, not me. But what is marketing? Whether it's good marketing or bad marketing, you playing the game of percentages. That's why you can't get bad publicity, right? Because as long as a person heard of it, when they decide to make a decision and they want to buy some clothes or they want to buy some headwear, man, let me go get one of Keys' crowns right now. Why? Because they've seen it so many times that it's in their brain. And there's not a lot of real estate and competition when it comes to, okay, I want to go buy some shoes. You automatically think, you know, you a baller or something. You may go get you some Louis or something. You may get you some R's. You may go, or if you're a sport person, you'll get you some Nikes. You'll get you some Jordans, some Adidas. How many small shoe brands out there that you know about? Not a lot. Why? Because they don't have big marketing that can consistently get into the brand. Right? That's why people do media, because oftentimes you can throw stuff on that channel. A person might not buy the first month. It might be the second month. It might be the third month. But with consistency, you always create a new customer.
Exactly. What can we do? Because I'm sure I see there's some brands out here right now. They want to get off the ground. It's local. How do we make it global?
That's a great question. So, you know, international business is basically just when you ship around the world. Global business is when you actually have like stores in those places where you're doing business with. Right? For me, when I wanted to scale my brand, it was simple. I had to go outside the local vicinity in which I was selling that brand. Right? It was probably back in 2019 when I did my diaspora tour. I went to Jamaica. I went to South Africa. I went to the UK. Right? The Four Corners. And each one of those places, what I was doing was establishing myself as an international brand. Right? But more so as a global brand. So now that I've been there, I touched the people. Now I've sold things outside of my local vicinity. So now when you think Keys, you're not thinking Oakland or St. Louis or Chicago or LA. No, Keys is across the planet. He got people that know him everywhere. So just think about this. If you reached out to somebody in South Africa and you took a small part of your marketing budget and you say, look, can you do a photo shoot in South Africa somewhere? I'll pay you $500. Now all of a sudden your brand has a South African brand, right? So where they doing a photo shoot at some event and all of a sudden somebody spotted your shirt. But you paid this person to actually wear it. So you're going to reach out to brand influencers all across the world to ask them if they can wear your brand, and then you pay them to go to some event. So now you got a global brand just that quick, right? For me, it's very simple things that we just don't do, and that's why I say you got to have a plan, right? Like with one of my health brands where we sell nootropics, every time we have great months and we do better, it's because we sit down, we plan as a team. All right, which one is working? You understand me? Which one can we increase? What new product can we have? Because some of you all don't ever create new products, right? And you only sell the same thing over and over and over, so people are never looking for something new. And at the same time, you never put out your best product. You always have to have a product coming and coming and coming. My brother Steve was asking, he's seen one of these top high-level secret crown designs that I had. And it's probably one of the greatest designs, you understand me? He says Bosky out of something.
Probably. Yeah, it's up there.
It's up there.
Yeah, it's up there.
He's like, why you don't put this out? I'm like, because they ain't ready for it yet. Everybody ain't got the classic yet. You understand me? Imagine the PlayStation had the PlayStation 7, yeah, right? But everybody ain't bought the PlayStation 4 and 5. I'm going to let y'all play this game first before I introduce y'all to the new graphics. Right? And with business, you got to do the same thing. You got to have rollout plans. You understand me? So therefore, people are always having an expectation of your brand growing. Otherwise, they say, oh, this brand always the same. The tag's always the same. He ain't never printing the tags. They never got no new packaging. You know what I'm saying? They never doing no high-level media where he putting it on a celebrity or, you know, he's going up.
All of these ideas, write these down.
You know, so when it comes to branding, you actually have to have an expansion plan because making 10,000 don't look the same as making 100,000, right? And when you're talking expansion, you got to have a plan because if your brand goes from 100,000 a month to $1 million, you won't be able to handle that. The brand will crash. You're going to need to hire people. You're going to need to increase production, inventory, the whole nine. So you really want to only scale as much as you're ready for. Because you can scale yourself into failure. Because now you got 1,000 customers waiting on that order and they mad at you. But your problem on the back end was you was getting too much money and you ain't got enough people to handle it. So you want to have a plan to scale. Otherwise, you got a plan to fail. I had to make that wrong.
They stopped clapping right there, please. Yeah. Keys, I'm going to come to you. Because while the market is going down, crypto is also going down. And so we talk about trust, and that's a big factor when we want to invest. Obviously, crypto is a little bit different, a lot more volatile. We saw what happened with Terra Luna. We saw what happened recently with Solano's blockchain being suspended. And so all these articles are coming out. The trust factor is getting wavered. What is the state of crypto in this type of market?
Crypto is no longer based on speculation. There was a long time where thousands of crypto projects can just win off hype and speculation. A bunch of people not knowing anything at all. But a lot of that money that was in the market that people had to spend on shit that they didn't understand has dried up, right? So now people are being a lot more careful. They want to get educated before they get into the space. They're still curious, they're still interested because they see money pour in, right? But even some of the smart money started to slow up because now they actually have to build and prove out things, right? It was very easy to be like, yo, what's the dog one or the monkey one? And then like, yo, I'm gonna buy it. People were buying shit coins. Literally, it was called shit and poop coins. They didn't care. Why? Because it had nothing to do whether it made sense at all, right? But now, when you see a lot of people lose money and you see it consistently in the news and there's fear, there's uncertainty, and there's doubt, people are like, nah, I'm gonna think twice before I jump in. So now the next cycle is gonna be just like the internet. You understand me? And only the best companies are gonna win out. Because the thing you got to think about with crypto is the same way you think about the stock market. Why would you have a system where you evaluate companies and stocks before you get into investment, but don't utilize that same system when it comes to cryptocurrency? Yet you want to have a reward outcome based on that investment energy that you're putting into it. So for me, it was always about understanding tokenomics. Why does this crypto make sense? Who is behind it? What's the underlying technology? How does it have the ability to take over the market? How could it last in 5 to 10 years? There's only, like you talked about the stock market, there's only certain big cryptocurrencies that's going to have enough money poured into it to where when it goes all the way down, they can survive to take more of the market space. Any times of contraction, you think expansion, right? You have Ethereum moving when they move. You have, of course, UTSD, but right now, what the countries are trying to do right now is all of these central back coins right now by the governments. So you have legislation putting in all these laws trying to figure out how can we have a Philly coin. Where we paying y'all and that's the next time y'all get a stimulus check, it's probably gonna be a cryptocurrency or something. And that's not a good thing though. You don't want to be on a welfare system by the government. You understand me? But for me, it's more than the state of cryptocurrency, it's the state of the utility of the blockchain itself. Because all of this stuff runs on the blockchain, right? So for me, the next iteration is DAOs. This idea of Web3 is just talking about how the internet is being used. It's not a specific technology. It's just the way we go about using the internet. Well, one was everybody looks at a screen. How many of y'all 90s babies? Hey, okay, sister. How many of y'all 80s babies? Hey. So y'all definitely remember life without the internet. You understand me? When it first was coming out, at first it was just a screen you can read. It wasn't nothing you can click, nothing you can buy. There was no apps you could download, right? Then you had iteration of 1G to 2G to 3G, and it allowed them to build out different technologies. So now we go to streaming. Now you're doing social media, right? Now you got e-commerce where you can buy and sell and there's a marketplace. And Web3 is basically saying that in order for me to post a picture, right, in order for me to buy and sell something, I don't need a financial tech app. I don't need Instagram. It's saying that I can put the data on the blockchain myself, I can send it to somebody. I own that data. Or if I send it to you, you now own it. So what they're talking about is owning data. Anybody ever done domain parking? When they bought a domain and made some money? Right? Domain parking is essentially when you buy an internet name, when you buy red.com. Like if your parents in 1995 when the internet came out bought red.com, they'd be millionaires. There's people who literally made $1 billion just off selling .coms. The new iteration of that is .eth with Ethereum name service. people are finding all of these companies and all of these dope names that haven't been taken up yet on Ethereum. That's going to be the new blockchain of the internet, and then they buying them and they selling them and flipping them for 50,000, 10,000, 3,000, 100,000, right? While we know the next rapper to get shot, or the next the next person that may show her titties or ass, or the next brother that may curse and do something stupid, we know nothing about the next money opportunity, right? And wealth goes to those who take advantage of it. So Web3 is a buzzword, but the reality of it is saying that the future is the present is changing. We're going into a future of how to do business. And you have to understand what's going to be the future of things. How many people got children? Raise your hand. Right? Damn, why do y'all ain't got no children? Y'all want to claim them or something.
Facts.
I know some more of y'all got children. How many people got children? Right? Claim your children. Y'all gonna mess with the prospects in here. You understand me? But if you got children, like, what's going to be their job in the future? What skill sets do they need? Right? How they're going to buy and sell things? How are they going to interact with the world? If you don't get educated, then you can't teach them how to be wealthy in the future. Right? So for me, like right now, it's very important for your children to learn Web3 skills. Right? Like, anybody a coder in here? Anybody do coding?
We need more of us to learn how to code.
That's why we ain't getting no money. We ain't the ones building nothing. If your children are the ones that got the Web3 skills, if your children, whether they're in high school or college, they learn how to buy and sell domains, they learn how to build and design crypto projects or .io websites on the blockchain, they're going to be the ones making $100,000, $200,000, $300,000. Right now, there's a lot of people that want to build, but there's not a lot of developers. So right now, we are in the phase of building. I love the fact that crypto and NFTs going through a spiral and it's crashing because it gets to prove out the underlying technology. The first time I did an interview with them on Market Mondays, I told them I wanted but I wanted NFTs to crash. Only reason you want crypto to crash is you plan on buying more and then holding for a long term for it to come up, right? So if anybody believes that Bitcoin may go back up to 40,000 in the next 10 years?
Absolutely.
So if it's not at 40,000, all you got to do is calculate what percentage of that of my return will be if I buy in right now.
Buy 20,000 and 27,000, y'all would be good. If I made you money, can I get a hell yeah?
So if it go down to 20,000, right, and you don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin, you may buy 5,000 of it, you may buy 1,000, but if it go up 100%, that's also the return of profit that you get. So unless you stop completely 100% believing in cryptocurrency, there's no reason not to buy when it's down because that's your actual investment thesis. Think about it. You actually believe it's going to go up, so why wouldn't you act in accordance to your beliefs? I'm telling you, do your homework, find the 4 major ones, right? Sit down with your child and ask them, what do you think going to be the greatest crypto? They may be able to understand the space in a way that you may never understand it. They going to be coming to you with investment like, oh, I think it's Solano because they building games. Oh, I think it's this other one because they got a new ecosystem. And even what you see in the space right now is not going to be everything. You see NFTs, crypto, blockchain. There's going to be SBTs. There's going to be a bunch of things being built out on this space. When they poured in billions of dollars, they're not doing that to invest in what's already here. They're doing that to capitalize and build what you're going to be buying. But at the same time, I 100% believe that we can build whatever ours or whatever we want. Because for me, I only care about cryptocurrency if we own it. I only care about Web3 if we own it. I only care about NFTs if we create them.
Facts.
If we not the actual owners and developers, then we just another consumer. 2 things. When it comes to understanding yourself, there is no greater thing that you can do, and it's a sea of melanin out there. It's to understand who you are. You understand me? Like, as much as you can get great technical and financial and wealth advice, if you don't know who you are as a man or a woman in this world, you can be led in any direction. You understand me? You won't have no purpose, no power, no spiritual energy, no way to raise your vibration, your consciousness, none of those things, because you have to know where you come from in order to know where you're going. So it's a sad fact that we know more about their history than we do our story. You understand me? So for any black man or woman that I see who knows themselves, I'm talking about deeply, spiritually ingrained of knowing who they are, and they walk and they carry that. I'm talking about stomach in, chest out, head up. You understand me? Where they alive, they a perpendicular man, meaning that we stand high. You understand me? If you don't know who you are, you will always be taken advantage of and considered a slave. But a person that knows who they are, they will seek knowledge. They will seek value. They will seek counsel. They will seek and create masterminds, right? A man that is in his order and in his power, he's going to always want to create a business. He's going to always want to take those thoughts that are laying in his mind and produce them in reality. Procrastination is the abortion clinic of ideas. So for a lot of us, instead of executing on knowledge that exists out here on an everyday basis, we wait for somebody to give it to us. But alive and waking and a non-sleeping black man and woman, every single day they go wake up and they go get it. For those, whether you have children or you're going to have children, this is not just a moment, this is a movement where we're creating a new culture to understand who you are. So when you have a fertile mind, every seed planted will grow. So when you have ladies, you got a man that is producing nothing, that is a non-worthy man. If you get with a woman and she doesn't know how to cultivate and nurture, that is a non-worthy woman. But as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, well, there's no good woman. She was made that way by no good man.
Big facts.
So if you go blame her, you have to first look and be indignant upon your responsibility. And then any advice you take from there, you're going to go and you're going to execute. But you have to understand the power here. Because anything you look for outside makes you a slave and it makes you dependent upon somebody else, except the God-given ability to save yourself.
Talk that talk. Clap it up for my God. Another conversation. Another high level.
Market Mondays. Can I get I'm a box of bowl water? That's marketing.
To fit all of y'all, gotta be right here.
Boots Picnic. We just tore down the stage with my brothers, 19 Keys and Ian Dunlap. This is just a preview. Of course, we had the best fest August 5th to the 7th. We got some other stuff planned, but anything we do big, high-level conversation, Market Mondays. It's only right. The biggest ever.
The highest level, tap in.
Yeah. Keyword ever.
Ever. That's what we do, man. It's the highest levels you're going to get to. You understand me? Earn your leisure, the biggest ever. You see the crowd, you see the love, you see the energy. They want to know what the people is tapped into, where their consciousness at, man. They here, they focus, and they ready to take over. We're going to continue to give them that education and the power they need as the resource to say themselves. It's the highest level. Tap in. Appreciate you. Blessed to meet you, God. Blessed God.
Rapping on this stage, nigga.
Bet you give.
You get one more right? Huh? One more right?
I had to get that gold water chat in there.
That was good shit.
Appreciate that. I'm gonna buy gold water. Like that. Yeah, that's my new thing at the shows.
Should have put it on stage. Should have had some.
We at the Roots Festival. We did something that was historical. Podcast day. Shout out to Wallow Gilly for curating the selection. Shout out to Earn Your Leisure for bringing the highest level. You know what I'm talking about? What we did today was nothing short of history. You know what I'm talking about? You talking about people that's curating knowledge on the background. You got Chief Keef, but we had our stage full. He's giving them knowledge on Web3, stocks, branding, marketing, business. This is the intellectual revolution, and you got to come tap into the intellectuals if you want to be led in the right direction. Man, I love it here because we enter into a new culture. Tap in.
Oh, you good? You good? You good?
About 20 years, 22 years, 20, okay, some of y'all too young to be doing all of this time, man. But I believe it. I do. lately been questioning if I still see you back.
Yo, what advice you want to give to the people about crypto and finance?
Learn yourself and then learn how to invest. Instead of putting the link in the bio. Do your education first. That's most important.
Thank you, King.
Absolutely. Better today? Oh, much better. In certain cities, you know, it's like being in Detroit, Oakland. I'm from Oakland and St. Louis, so. Same shit. Yeah. I appreciate what's your name, guy? I'm married. Yeah, I need to look at the fit. What we doing here really proves that culture has changed. I think, like, in a sober thought, as I sit here and I think about why so many people needed to be there. Number one, it's the answer, it's the solution. But two, I don't think entertainment is going to win on much longer. Like, you got a podcast stage, you got an entertainment stage. Yet we had it packed. That means that all of them people consciously chose to do something of value for their life. And they believe that we were messengers of a good message. So as long as we stewards of our platform in a good way, I believe that we can actively, consistently create change. And we're going to do it at the highest level. And that's why I know it's going to be successful, because we have the right principles backing this revolution. You understand? We talk about that word culture so much because it's a word like the word black that connects us all to certain values and ideas that we agree to be a part of. And now we have to agree to be a part of a new culture that stands for our generational wealth, our empowerment, our good health, our family, and all the other things that we need to vibrate at the highest level. Tap in. You will see more of this. Yo, I'm Big Keys, man. We doing blockchain things over here at the Block World Order. We learned about cryptocurrency, how to trade it, how to buy it, how to sell it, what are the strategies that we need to jump in and out. We're getting signals for trading. We're learning about NFTs, how to build them, how to utilize them in your business. We learned about STBs, soul-bound tokens. We learned about DAOs, the future of businesses, organizations, institutions. We learned about blockchain technology. All of these great concepts that you're hearing about in the world, the metaverse, this gaming, we actually gonna learn how to build it. We're gonna learn everything about it from the basics to the masterful side of it. Right? Once you join Block World Order, you will now be a part of a community that will be working to build out the future. Not only are we going to be learning how to build it out, but how to take advantage and gain wealth within it. During these uncertain times, you cannot be without the skill sets of the future. Make sure you tap into the Block World Order, because not only are we learning technology, but we're learning you. That's right, I said you. We're learning how you can take your mind and you can increase your intelligence by learning these new learning skills, learning how to hack the human mind, learning how to become a better version of yourself by understanding your multidimensional capacity, how to go from being nothing to empty your mind to where you can tap into new skill sets and start learning 30 to 40% better, to where you can have increased confidence, increased focus. We don't just want you to learn blockchain technology, we want you to learn yourself. Make sure you tap into the Block World Order. There's a new world and a new you way.